Hello everyone and welcome to my channel again, to another weekly journal. I am so happy to be here with you again, as you know it already. So I do have some questions to answer, some things to show you, and this will be a really interesting weekly journal. And also I have some questions for you because I kind of got some a question and it was not even a question, it was a statement, and it makes me think of something, and I want to ask you at the end of this video because maybe we will find together something to and do it better. I'm wearing the cloud sweater today. I put it because I got this earring from my friend from Romania, from Hayat. She's making this beautiful genuine leather jewelry, like necklaces, earrings, and so on. And I said to put the first version of the cloud sweater because I thought this green over here will match the earrings. I will put her website and Facebook page into my description. This is not a sponsor, she's just my friend, so she didn't, well, she sent me this as a gift, or basically I need to make her a dress as a change, in exchange, so it's not like it's free. She's selling this mostly in Romania, so for all my Romanian friends who's watching this video, please check her website because she's making beautiful things. And now with 1st of March, 8th of March, if you want to give yourself a nice present, or for the one that you love, maybe it's a great idea to start looking over there. So she just started to ship to the other countries, but just in case if you want something, you simply go and send her a message on Facebook, because her website is not built for international shipping yet, but I hope that it will get there. So this is about the earrings. They're super cute. Okay, now I think we're ready to start our weekly journal after talking about the earrings. Okay. Okay, so last week we were talking and I showed you, because Laura asked for some methods or suggestion to hide the joining line when working in a round, especially for raglan, yokes, sweater. And I showed you a couple of things which are normally used, like the chain 3, the chain 2, and the double crochet after that. And then with that tip to make the invisible slip stitch into the back loop only when joining. This might help to hide that line as well. With that single crochet on top of single crochet as the first double crochet, which can be helpful as well. But I was telling you that everything you need to try them, work them, because at some point you might get used to that stitch, and in the end it can be looking really great if you I don't know, if you get used to that technique and with that stitch. And then I showed you my favorite method to start the round into the increase at the sleeve, or what into the increased line, and in this way you're hiding and your joining line is not on the middle or somewhere on the back panel of your sweater. And in this way it's even better when you're joining, because your joining line will go on the side. As a response to that, I got a few questions, suggestion about how you're doing this. The first one by CLC3897. I don't know if this is her username. So she's doing the same into the increase of the raglan, and this was her suggestion. And she's also using she's also doing a chain plus double crochet instead of the 3 chain. You can raise to the next row, giving you space to add at the next join. Um, she's never using 3 chains up. Also do a single crochet stack, which makes that first stitch completely invisible. So this is the same, starting into the joining line, but doing instead of chain 3, maybe this single crochet one on top of the other to start the row instead of using chain 3, and it will make it even more less visible. Then I had, I think, some other people saying that they are using going into the back at the join. Molly Piquet says that it hides it, and I have from Ulrike the suggestion of the improved chainless starting double crochet by Mugli or Tamara Kelly, which I kind of I didn't know that she was the one who first did this starting stitch double crochet. But I was trying to do it last time with that twisting the first loop, and I couldn't remember it well. But of course I looked at Tamara's video and see how she is doing it, and I am going to show you right away how to do the chainless starting double crochet in Tamara's video, and I will link it below because this is a totally shout out to her video. She's showing it into a flat square, a flat swatch. I will do it on in the round on the small sample that I was using last week, and yeah, I wasn't able to hold that twisted loop at the beginning, so I find it a different way to do it, and I will show you that to you as well. So I hope with this new stitch, with this improved chainless starting double crochet, if you're starting to use it and get used to it, because this is another thing I don't think I'm so not thinking when working and closing the round, starting a new round. It's everything going so by instinct already that I think I will forget at some point to make that stitch. So yeah, but if you find it that is working for you and you're getting used to it, why not? And if this will make you feel even more proud about your sweaters, then this is a win thing, and I think it's not losing the time if you try it. Okay, so let me show you how to do the stitch. Don't forget to check the description box because I will add the link to the Tamara's video, and yeah, after that we will talk a bit more about other questions that I have, because Leslie, I think it's waiting for an answer from my side about the math behind top down sweaters. So we will talk a bit more about that. Okay, so the last 3 rounds. I made it with this improved chainless starting double crochet by Tamara from Mowgli blog, or blog. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. And I'm about to show it to you. But one thing that it's confirmed is that it's really depending on your tension as well. This one over here, which was the first one that I did, was with letting the loop at the beginning a bit too loose, so you can see that it's actually, when I joined the stitch, it's kind of getting the space over here. With this two over here, I just kept the loop a little bit tighter, so the stitches are even better. But I know that if you're continuing to test it out and work the stitch, I'm sure that after doing it many times you can improve the way that it's looking and hide it even more. So now let me show you how to make this this double crochet starting chainless. So first you need to pull the loop a bit higher. This is where I did the mistake to let it too loose here, so it's better, it's must be as high of a double crochet or even smaller. And then you're putting your index finger here to hold this loop and twist it like this, and you can see the two loops. If I'm letting it just going away, so you need to hold it really careful. So see, I'm losing it, but I find out method to how to work the stitch even if you lose this. So now maybe I'm not twisting correctly. Now like this, no. Okay, and then after holding this loop, you're going with the hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull out the loop, then yarn over and pull through two, and then you'll have these two loops over here, and yarn over and pull through two. And this is what it gives you, a kind of double crochet look. And if you find it difficult to hold this thing, I just twist it and let it like this, then going yarn over, pull out the loop, and then yarn over, and when I'm going with the hook under this twisted stitch, and now I have like this two loops over here and pull through. So in this way you don't have to be careful of not losing that loop. So again, I will show it to you again. So this is twisted already. So I twist, but let it like this, going, yarn over, then yarn over, going through the first loop. If you want, you can hold it like this to be easier, and then I'm going it on the back of that twisted higher loop that I have, and then yarn over and pull it through. And now let me show you once again like the original version. So holding, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, oh, so this needs to be like this, pull it like this, yarn over and pull through two. So now I will work the entire row and then show you how to close this round. And basically this was it with this twisted, but as you can see this will go to the right as well. So as a final thing, I think the best way to do it, even if you're using the stitch, the best way to do it is to start over here. Okay, so when you need to close the round with this chainless starting double crochet, you simply go in the top V over here, as it will be a standard double crochet, and close the round. Yeah, so this was it with the Mugli or Tamara improved chainless double crochet. You can try it on, I think, as many times as you're doing it, you will get a better attention, and this will look more closer to a regular double crochet than it can be. So this is one of the methods that I actually tried to show it to you last time, but with the twisted stitch, but I couldn't find it the way of doing it. So yeah, I showed you today with the help of you, of course, because you let me know about this technique, and I watched the tutorial a couple of times, so now I'm able to showing it to you, even with my personal touch in it. Okay, so this was it with the invisible stitch. Yeah, I have a friend over here coming. Let me show it to you. Say hi. Okay, so yeah, so this was with the stitch. Now we will go and I have a couple of questions actually, and they are not that many, but they're important stuff, I think, and we can talk about this. My cat is just pushing my hand. Okay, so first, which was the first? I think Rosie was asking about the where she can find the pattern, and because it was a comment that she let it at the in the weekly journal link, I think she refers to the my precious sweater that I was showing to you last week, and that one is already on my YouTube channel, the oldest version, and also on my website, and I am working on the reviewed or updated version of this sweater pattern, but I will tell you a bit later when we're talking about what I was working on. So if you want Rosie the oldest version, then you can find it on my website, and I will add the link into the description below. Now we're getting to Leslie. At some point she was leaving a comment to explain about the math behind the top-down sweater, the raglan sweaters. I told her that I do have some videos about the round yoke sweater, which were here into the weekly journals, and I took you to my entire designing process, showing you the math behind and so on. Apparently she got lost into the section when you need to establish the increase pattern on the yoke. So I tried to find that that sheet what is in my Excel office folder, but I couldn't find it, so I don't know what I did with it. I hope I didn't lost it, because those information were important when I will finish the sweater to help me to go to to grading and so on. So I hope I will find it, but I couldn't find it, so I could talk and answer Leslie on a true numbers. But the idea is when establishing the increase pattern, and when I'm saying the increase pattern, because we already have the section in the round yoke, so we know with how many stitches we increase, we need to increase. And now to establish the increase pattern, I'm referring to the number of rows that we have per increase pattern, because I don't want to make the increases at every row. This might be a solution, but this will kind of showing the increases, the increased lines, and it's really visible. So that's why I'm kind of looking of making an increase on one row, or the increases on one round, and then continue with a few rounds without increasing. And this way the increases on the round will be close to each other, and having those rounds in between, these lines of increasing, they won't be that visible. Talking about everything needs to be less visible as possible. So this is my method, but I think I said it even on the video. As long as you know how many rows you need for the armhole depth and how many stitches you need to increase to get to the yoke number of stitches, so you know with how many stitches you need to increase in how many rows, then you can calculate the number of stitches that you should increase per row, for example. But I divided the number of rows for the yoke into sections, and I started to calculate to be like an even number, and I think I had that 4, or, and you'll have more version about, because the result might be you can have more rounds. So I divided the total number of rounds by sections of rows, for example 5 rows, let's say, instead of, and then I divided the total number of stitches to that sections. I don't know, it feels so weird when I'm talking about it. Should have more logic, but maybe I don't know how to explain it. So only because I don't want the increases to be at every row, and I want some rounds in between the increase rows, I just divided the total number of rows for the yoke into sections. So if I have 20 rows or 20 rows for the yoke, I don't have the exact numbers into that sheet, but if I have 20 rows, I want to divide it either, or I can divide it by 2, so to have one increase row and then without increasing, one increase row and then without increasing, because the 20 is divisible with 2 exactly. So then I can divide it by 4, so in this way I can have one increase row followed by 3 rounds without increasing. I can divide it by 5 to have one increase row divided by followed by 4 rounds without increasing, and so on until you have all the numbers at which the total number of rows that you have is exactly divisible. And then after having those sections, because now if I'm choosing 5 to have section of 5, then means that I will have for only 5 sections, then I will have to divide the total number of stitches that I will have to increase to that number of sections, because I will have only 5 increase rounds. So basically I'm calculating how many increase rounds I will have, and then with that I will start to calculate with how many increases I should have into an increase round to be able to add all those stitches that I need. Yeah, it's not an easy process to talk about, and I think that's why the person who can do it and who can teach that are amazing. And explain everything, because everything sounds logical and feels logical in my head, but when I have to explain it, I found it so difficult. So Leslie is asking actually her interest. She got lost here with calculate the pattern increase, and I don't blame her. It's not it's not I'm not doing it as better as I should, and or it should be explaining, meaning, and maybe my method is not the perfect one, but this was the thing to show you how I do it. But she was more interested into a rectangle yoke with the math behind. And I have to say that I find it with the math behind rectangle yoke, I find it even worse and harder than in the round yoke. And this is why, especially because you make the 4 increases, and you basically increase on the body and sleeves at the same time, so you cannot, in one increase that you make, you increase the body and you increase the sleeve. And because the sleeve doesn't need the same positive is or the same proportion in is as the body, usually you have more room on the body and less on the sleeve. You cannot add the same is, or I didn't try it until now. And basically, if you are adding the same number of stitches, you will get with the same number of sorry, with my cat, of the positive is. So, or you will end up with bigger sleeves, with 2 wide sleeves. You can adjust that into the starting chain and get it a bit shorter, but then it will be too short. Maybe in some future weekly journals I will cover this up. I recently find that if you kind of try to use the knitting technique of increasing into a rectangle of raglan, meaning that you make an increase for body, then you have the raglan stitches, and then increase for the sleeve. And this can be done in crochet as well. So in this way you can alternate the increases for the sleeve and for the body. For example, if you finish with the increases so the sleeve has the width that you desire, then you can stop increasing there and just continue increasing on the body. But yeah, Leslie dreams to design her first to get out her first design, to design her first sweater, so that's why she's interested in doing so. And she needs to know the math behind to understand all the process. So as far as I can tell about the rectangle yokes, because they were the first sweater that I was starting to making when first designing, and it was it was trying and trial, so I don't remember one sweater to just calculate it from the beginning. I just worked on it and then measuring and see how I can adjust that pattern to other sizes. So maybe you can do that, just work a sweater for yourself at first. She said that she's good at reading patterns. This is a thing, but I wasn't good at reading patterns. I don't think I am even right now. I think it will help you to just start the sweater and figure out the math behind it that you want to use for your side, which is working for you. The thing is the same into the rectangle raglan. The key sections are the same. We have the neckline, we have the um, armhole depth, we have the upper arm, we have the bust. So these are the main thing to make the construction of the yoke, because then you can in the length it doesn't matter, you can just go from there. Even with the sleeve, if you want to shape them, is the same. So as long as you have these key measurements, let's say neckline, bust, armhole, and upper arm, and of course according with your gauge you are having those transform into stitches and rows. And then usually on a 4-round raglan you're increasing with 8 stitches per row, or in each section with 2 if you're looking. And I do recommend that to into a rectangular raglan, to see each section individually, because especially that, because she said that she wants to think about the stitch pattern and just design her sweater. This is the most important thing, because the pattern will work in section. You need to stop here somehow with the stitch pattern and then think it all over. So think the sweater in section, front, sleeves, back as a first, and then into a rectangular raglan you will always increase with 8 stitches in total per row, or 2 stitches per section. Of course that you can do more if you're working, as I said, increasing separately on the sleeves and body and have the raglan line separately, then you can adjust that. And if you want, you can increase, for example, instead of working 2 double crochet in one stitch, you can work 3 double crochet, and this will add 4 stitches to your body. But the main idea and the more used types of increases into rectangle raglan, which might be double crochet, chain 2 double crochet, or 3 double crochet into the same stitch, this all will add 2 stitches per section. Knowing that and knowing with how many stitches you want to start, knowing how many rows you need to work for your yoke depth, and then how many stitches you need to have into the body and sleeves to get that fit that you want, then you should calculate the number, the increases. The thing is that you won't have enough stitches, especially in bigger sizes, you won't have enough stitches to increase, because in crochet you don't have smaller rows like in knitting. You have even bigger rows if you're working with double crochet, triple crochet, or whatever. So you won't have enough rows to make the to increase the number of stitches that you need. And that's why more often you need to go even with a deeper yoke, meaning that you won't stop at the armpit, or here you need to go with a deeper yoke just to add more rows, to add more width, or and because it might be an and, you have the armpit stitches to add at the armpit. So in this way you will add a bit more width, but the armpit stitches are also adding stitches to the sleeves, which might be a thing that you don't like it. So it requires a lot of, every time I'm grading a raglan pattern, is it always I need to play with the stitches, adding a bit at the armpit, getting off from the neckline, because I need to adding a few more rows, but not too many, not to go with a bigger yoke. But in this thing, some testers can be really helpful, because you can draft your design or your pattern, and then you can just go. This if you want to publish your pattern. If you want to do the design for yourself, then I have to say that the best way to do is the try and practice and see what works best for you. In some future weekly journals, I won't promise exactly if it will be next week or not, but I will show you the more about this process. I think I talked a lot about it, and I don't know if I did it right, the talking meaning, but I will try to make a more visual explanation about that, and maybe it will help somehow Leslie, or even to help some other people. So now this was with the math behind and everything. So now let's just talk about what I was working on this week, because of course I won't be able to show you something else, because again, I don't want to get to 1 hour weekly journal, because usually this is what is happening. So now let's get into showing you what I was working on this week. Okay, so this week, I don't know, in this period something is happening with my daughter. Apparently she needs more me time, and this of course doesn't give me too much time for working, unless if I'm not doing everything until she's back from school. Then she's very sentimental and telling me that she wants some quality time with me. I don't know from where she learned about that. She even didn't want it to go to a play date with her friend from school, because she said that she wants quality time with me. So yeah, this means when she's saying that, means that I need to do something with her. So I can just give her homework and you need to work that, and then we'll see. So I need to spend time with her. I don't complain, because this is a great thing that I can be there for her when she needs it, when she feels it. But this means that I'm putting things on hold. But again, this is not a complaint. This is not like I have to, I don't know, justify what I was doing this. I don't, or find excuses for not being lazy, for example. But yeah, I don't think I was lazy. I think I did some progress on some stuff, only that my head is functioning differently when I know that someone needs me. I finished to update the pattern for the my precious sweater with the new shape, because I'm starting with the rounds into the raglan increases, so I need to change the pattern as well. And after posting on my Instagram account, someone asked for please do it in an XS size, so extra small, which I didn't, because I didn't change anything according to the sizes. I don't think it will be really difficult, because of the stitch pattern with the diamonds motif, to make it work on bigger sizes, because it's going with a deeper yoke anyways. So I don't know, I didn't want to do that. But so the pattern was written in sizes small up to 2 extra large. But of course, that if you want to get into that width, you can go even with more rounds, add more stitches at the armpit, and in the end you will get with larger size. You don't you can't do too much to this sweater design, because you're stuck into those diamonds pattern. So now everything was ready. I could publish that on my website and in my shops, but I just want to make the math for it was only a person who was asking for an extra small, but it's that thing that I could do that what someone asked for, and I didn't. So this is not make I want to do it. So I put it on hold until I will be able to make all the math for the extra small. And then I was working for the Valentine's Day, which was something unexpected. Let me bring it here. So on Valentine's Day, because I said it on this on the tutorial videos as well, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, but in school kids were starting to make cards, postcards for the parents with Valentine's Day, so my daughter knows about it. And in the Valentine's Day morning, she woke up and said, I don't understand why I am making for you the cards and everything for Valentine's Day and you're not doing anything for me. I hope that you will make a card or something. So I explained her, which is my opinion about the Valentine's Day, about this celebration, but of course she's a kid and every reason to celebrate something, it's something great and she wants to do it. So after she went to school, I was like, okay, now I need to make something for my kids for Valentine's Day. And I said, okay, I will make a draw card fast or do something. But then I said, okay, I can make her a pillow. So I made her a fluffy pillow using faux fur yarn in a heart shape. It's not red, it's a rainbow in a rainbow color, but she loved it. So yeah, I think it was a win-win situation. I spent a day again. In that day I wasn't able to do anything else. I was only making this pillow. Then I said, oh, maybe I will make a tutorial with it. So I filmed while I was making the second heart. And then after doing that, because it wasn't exactly happening in the Valentine's Day I said, okay, I need to post this video today, because then of course you can have heart-shaped pillows any time of the year, but I said, yeah, maybe it would be a great idea for someone who wants a fast project for somebody, because it took me only 2 hours to make this. And I said, okay, let's do all the process editing to be able to post it on Valentine's Day. So this was the only thing that I was doing in that day. And the third thing that I was working, like properly working this week, was something that I was showing you the last week. How is it this? Oh, this is yeah. So this is how far I got with this project. And I want to be a long dress, ankle length actually, and it will be of course a beach, a seaside or something, or beach cover up or something like that. I'm happy that I managed to place it's focusing the camera, to place these circles in a way that I could make this wide sleeves or bell sleeves at the end, which is nice. And because after joining I'm getting these holes, I just find a pattern to do it here. I don't know why it's not focusing. Okay. So to make this small circle over here to just cover everything up. So yeah, I'm pretty, and also managed to do the neckline. I don't know if it will be the final. Someone wish me luck when with this pattern, but because it would be difficult to grade it, but I don't care really. I'm trying to get out of this hobby as much as I can, but it's in the end a passion that I have, and if it's something that I'm doing and is not getting out as a pattern, I still have the joy. I know that it would be nice to share it, but it's not because I don't want to, it's just because it's so difficult to explain how to do it, but or to grade or anything else, and it might not work. I can try. The only way to grade this is to change the motif size or to add more motifs. I don't want to add more motifs because this will change everything and will do it even harder. So I will try to make the motif bigger and then to see if it will work into the same shape for other sizes. So if it will work, or I will do of course a pattern. If it won't work, then maybe I won't do it. But anyways, I have to work like 3 samples because 2 of my friends asked for it, so I need to make more out of it. So I will have enough time and practice to establish a better way to write the pattern. But anyways, it will be a video tutorial, so anyone who will want to make it, I will give the tips, because it's not about that it's you cannot do it in other sizes. It's just because it might be difficult to write it in a pattern. So yeah, so this is what I was working on this week, and I think this was with the weekly journal that I had for today. So I did say at the beginning that I do have a question for you, but maybe I will try to do it next week, because if I'm asking you, I know that I will have to talk more about it, and then we will expand this video even more. So yeah, now we will finish this for today. Thank you so much for being here, and as always, if you have any suggestions or any questions for me, please let them. Leslie, I'm not forgetting about you. I hope that I will be able to give even more explanations about how the math is working on the raglan yoke, and maybe to have some visual tutorials to work on. And yeah, but in future. But anything that you have, and if it's something that I can do during that week, like it was with the invisible join, because it was easy to just start a small sample and work a few rows and showing you a few methods. But if it's quite a big project, I'm kind of writing down and somehow trying to find time to work on them. So, but I'm not forgetting, I do have the mosaic crochet sweater make along on the list, and now with this rectangle raglan that to explain the math behind it, I will write it down, and at some point we will discuss about it. So thank you so much for being here. I can wait for the next week and see what we will have. Thank you. Have a nice, great weekend, and see you next week. Bye.